Folks, you may have known that there's actually a lot of Genshin drama that's going on right now, and I figure, screw it, if everyone's going to talk about it, I might as well join in on the fun, so you guys know precisely how I feel about all of this, okay? So, if you don't already know, the Chinese community really have kicked this up into a bit of a frenzy, because they've started raging and, unfollowing various Genshin social medias and all that jazz, because HoYoverse have basically announced that to thank you for your 3 years of support, we're going to give you three free wishes in the mail. Which is just absolutely fucking pathetic. Look, I think I know, everyone knows that's just crap. Now, obviously, when it comes to this kind of drama, especially when it comes to reward drama in Genshin, the obvious comparison ends up being with something like Star Rail, because Star Rail happens to be a game that seems to be, quote-unquote, treating their players very, very nicely by showering them with a lot of very, very free things. We're talking about things like the 5-star selector that you can get at 300 wishes. We're talking about the idea that every patch you actually get a free temple. The idea that in 2.0 you're getting another free temple. And we're also talking about things like Doctor Ratio. Now, side note, I know a lot of people, when Doctor Ratio was announced, will then immediately turn to Genshin and say, oh, really? They get a free 5-star that's apparently pretty good, and all we get is Aloy? Bruh. What's up with that? Here's the thing. I don't feel like that either. I don't feel like that at all. Because I like Aloy. All of her flaws, all of her features, I like Aloy. Yeah. So, I don't feel any negative emotions whatsoever. I know, it's such a foreign concept, but yeah, it is what it is. So, you're not going to hear that from me. What do you want me to do? Pretend I don't like Aloy? I'm not going to do that, because that's psychotic. That being said, though, the idea of Star Rail getting a free 5-star character, and apparently a free limited 5-star character too, does mean I'm not opposed to the idea of Genshin giving us a free 5-star character as well as Aloy at some point. Preferably now, but whenever that happens, I am not opposed to that at all. Even if it's a free 5-star on the standard banner, take your pick. Because if that's the case, I would love to get me some Tignari or the higher constellations. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, dude. Give me that, right? Now let's talk about the main issue that all of this really surrounds. And it's the idea that players are not feeling like they're being heard. Genshin players in particular, right? And I feel like this is the case true. Because remember, Genshin gives us these surveys. And I feel like, and when I say I feel like, it's actually the same feeling that everyone is having. People fill out those surveys, and they pretty much say the exact same thing. What do we want? Artifact loadouts. What do we want? Certain characters getting better. In some cases, it's Aloy. In some cases, it's the higher. In some cases, it's even like characters like Chi-Chi. Various other shenanigans like that, right? More content, more combat content, at least for me. I actually want more combat content, but are these surveys being heard? Yes and no. Not really, it is what it is. And also, this is other thing that players are not feeling like they're being rewarded. Which, if you compare it with Star Rail, is definitely the case, right? Now, let's quickly analyze the situation here. Why is this happening? Now, there's two schools of thought. Number one, and the one that I probably subscribe to the most, which is Genshin doesn't have any competition. Well, any real meaningful competition. Yes, obviously there's competition with Genshin. You've got other action-based games. You've got things like Zelda. For me, you've got other games like Warframe that would take up my time instead of Genshin if Genshin didn't exist, right? But when it comes to like gacha games in this genre, like action RPG gacha games, recently we had Tower of Fantasy, but that didn't really turn out all that successful. There are people who like playing Tower of Fantasy, and good for you. I tried to play Tower of Fantasy. The gameplay was fine. I didn't really have a main issue with the gameplay, but the story did not hook me in. So that's just me. That's just me, right? But as a direct result, I haven't really played Tower of Fantasy since, right? Wuthering Waves and Project Mugen are looking very interesting, though. Those are ones being upcoming games that could potentially be Genshin competition. I hope they end up being pretty good. I am looking forward to trying them out. And if they end up being good, then maybe that's going to be the kick in the pants that HoYoverse needs in order to make Genshin at least less stingy with the rewards, right? And hopefully make Genshin better in other things that I want Genshin to be better in, right? But there's another school of thought that's currently emerging right here, right now. And that is, the idea that apparently someone high up in the Genshin development team has a track record of making the game stingy. And if that's the case, then not even Mugen and Wuthering Waves can save Genshin from, well, being stingy. If that's the case, then basically a full developer team shuffle is going to be necessary in order for at least the players who want the game to not be stingy to finally have a game that's not stingy, if that makes sense. All right? And of course, we are seeing this kind of sentiment being thrown around right now, which is like, oh, bro, why does anyone play Genshin? Why don't people actually play Star Rail? Why don't you, Katagari, play Star Rail? Because clearly, we Star Rail players are getting treated so well. And that is true. You Star Rail players are being treated very well with the free things that I have already outlined a little bit earlier. But the game is a turn-based game. And no amount of free things is going to change the fact that Star Rail is turn-based. And I tried it, and I didn't like it. Mainly because it was turn-based. I went so far as to say, oh, okay, fine, maybe I'll try and continue playing the game if I get Himiko, because at least then I can stare at Himiko long enough to sort of get back into the idea of liking Star Rail. I didn't get Himiko. I don't even remember who I got, but it wasn't Himiko. And Himiko is the only one who matters. So I stopped playing the game. That's it. Look, there's a lot of quality of life things that exist in Star Rail, apparently, that I would like to see come into Genshin. I don't remember what they are off the top of my head, and I'm not going to bother researching right now, because this is a bit of a rant video, but I do want those things to come into Genshin. But I'm still not going to play Star Rail for the various quality of life things, because the gameplay doesn't excite me at all. Because at the end of the day, the only thing really that matters is the game fun to play? Do you enjoy logging in and doing whatever it is that you're doing in the game? If you do, then you're probably going to continue playing the game. If you don't, getting free 5 stars is not really going to help that. And that is the case with me in Star Rail. It's also funny to me that I see a lot of people who are like, damn, this guy still likes playing Genshin? What a HoYoverse White Knight. Damn, it's because of people like him. It's because of people like him that we're never going to get any good improvements in Genshin. It's because of people like me who apparently like Aloy that are the reason why we're never going to get a free 5-star in the game. Really? Me and 40 other people are the very reason why you're never going to get a free 5-star in Genshin. Really? And really, I'm a HoYoverse White Knight because I like playing Genshin. Despite the fact that I don't like playing Star Rail. Fascinating. Fascinating how your mind works. Anyway, I haven't actually even bothered to try playing Honkai Impact 3rd. And I might try Zenless 0. I hope it's interesting. But if it's not, then just like Tower of Fantasy, just like Star Rail, I'm probably going to drop it. That's the reality of the situation. Now, okay, look, here's the thing. let me White Knight Genshin for a second. Look, there are some things that are happening in Genshin right now that I think are going in the right direction. We are starting to see, maybe, hopefully, some bosses with some interesting mechanics. And I'm not just talking about folks like scary memes. I'm talking about things like the anti-gravity machine. The idea that this is a boss that allows you to be a plunge character in order to dodge its big shockwave. Ooh. Okay. More of that, please. More crazy, interesting shenanigans like that, please. I don't know what the mechanics are for the new boss that's coming in Chenyu Vale, but I hope it's interesting. So more of that, please, And we're also starting to see actually difficult bosses that are tanky enough to survive for quite some time and also do quite a lot of damage, which means you do need to dodge their attacks if you want to actually survive without your entire team just basically getting one-shotted. And I am, of course, referring to the local legends. I like the local legends. I want more of them. And not just more of them in every new region that shows up, which is currently the pattern that we're seeing. I mean more local legends in places that already exist. Give me some Mondstadt local legends, Liyue local legends, Inazuma local legends, Sumeru local legends. More of that. Do you remember that nameless island in the middle of nowhere out in the sea outside of Mondstadt that you basically need to go to once and then do like a side quest and then that's it? And then you also get like a wind tunnel that takes you back to mainland. Chuck a local legend there and give us wind tunnels that take us there. Is that so hard? Is that so hard? Give us more of that. I want more of that. You know, I am not all that passionate about free 5 stars, free wishes, free primo gems, blah, 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 blah. I'm not against them, but I'm not passionate about them at all. But I am passionate about the idea of more combat content that is permanent and exists. So, you know, local legends, more of that. Hell, I even want, like, more, like, Masanori types. Something that I can, like, also just, you know, use in a way to sort of, well, at least in my case, you know, do showcases of characters and also test characters and all that jazz. I want more of that too. So where's the next Masanori, Hoyo? Where is he? Or she, or it? Where are they? And then, of course, there's also things that Genshin are doing that potentially are going in the wrong direction. I am, of course, namely referring to artifact loadouts. It's not an artifact loadout, dude. That's not an artifact loadout. It's quick equip, fast equip, but that's not what we want, really. I mean, we'll take it, but it's not what we want. What we want is artifact loadouts. And when I say artifact loadouts, my frame of reference is something like Warframe. So what I'm kind of expecting for artifact loadouts is the ability to equip 5 artifacts onto your character and then save it as a loadout. And so that you can then change to another loadout, let's call it loadout B, and it happens to be another 5 artifacts that you have equipped onto that character. Or maybe it's the same 5 artifacts, except let's say you've changed the sand because you're anal about trying to figure out which Aloy build you want to use because your name is Katagari and you're a little bit psychotic. Something like that, right? Instead, what we currently have is fast equip, and that's not what we want. And then, of course, there was that whole no endgame announcement that happened a couple of years ago. Bruh. Bro, come on. That being said, though, the fact that we are getting local legends, maybe they're starting to change their mind on that. Maybe. It's a bit copium. I agree. It's a bit of a copium take. Okay, I think that should cover everything. In conclusion, look, I'm still going to play Genshin. I still like playing Genshin. I'm still really excited for 4.4 and everything that comes out with that. I'm pretty keen to try out Garming. I think he's looking pretty interesting. I'm probably not going to get the bird unless she actually groups Aloy's bomblets, which currently I don't know if she does. Anyway, either way, I'm still going to like playing Genshin. I'm still going to probably continue playing Genshin for quite a long while, especially as I'm actually quite invested in the story and all that jazz. And even though this drama is existing, you know, maybe hopefully one day we'll get some free rewards and all that jazz, but I don't really care all that much. But I'll take him, obviously. And of course I'll continue playing the game with Aloy because I like playing Aloy. It is what it is. Let me know what it is in the comments below. Did I miss anything? Feel free to let me know if I missed something in the comments, and I'll try and answer that. And if there happens to be a lot of people who are saying, oh, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Then yeah, I'll put a pinned comment in the comments below. Otherwise, hope you guys enjoy this. If you like this video somehow, hit that like button, subscribe for more Genshin Impact action, and until next time, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Peace.